Hello everyone and welcome to Smart Course on CAIIB. In this video, we are going to cover Unit 5 under Module A of Advanced Bank Management, where we are going to study business cycle, also known as the trade cycle or the economic cycle. Business cycle shows the fluctuations, or we can say the rise and fall of economic activities that occur from time to time in an economy. These are measured in terms of increase or decrease in GDP over time, which is measured in years, because these fluctuations occur over a long period of time. These fluctuations are irregular, unpredictable, and random. Let's understand various phases of business cycle. A business cycle can be divided into 4 phases. First is boom. During the boom phase, production capacity is fully utilized and all products fetch an above normal price, which gives higher profit. We notice prosperity all around. This attracts more and more investors. Entrepreneurs purchase new machines and the employees also work at higher wages. New employees are also hired and these new employees start spending their salary. As a result, there is more consumption in the economy and therefore the prices start increasing, but the salaries are not increased at the same speed. Then we have recession. Once economy reaches the peak, prices are too high that most people find it difficult to cope up with the expenses. So they have to cut down their expenses and sometimes downsize their lifestyle, which includes selling their big houses for smaller ones and selling the high-end cars to buy smaller, fuel-efficient cars, etc. As a result, an overall decreasing trend in demand is observed. After some time, suppliers come to notice that their unsold stocks are increasing, and so they are compelled to reduce the supply and postpone their new investments. Because of this, the businesses now work at a lower capacity. Banks demand their dues, but businesses find it difficult to pay back. Some businesses even fail. This leads to job losses and unemployment. Now, this unemployment leads to fall in expenditure, prices, profits, and industrial and trade activities. Desire for liquidity increases all around. Producers are compelled to reduce their prices so that they can find money to meet their obligations. Stocks go on piling up. Some firms are even forced into bankruptcy. The prices are falling and consumers notice this falling prices and therefore postpone their purchases as they expect the prices to fall further. Some firms are even forced into bankruptcy, and the failure of one firm affects other firms with whom it has business connections. This phase of business cycle is also known as the crisis. The next phase is depression. In this phase, there is underutilization of both manpower and materials. Overall demand falls faster than production. Producers are compelled to sell their goods at prices which not even cover their full cost. Manufacturers of both capital goods and consumer goods are forced to reduce the volume of production. As a result, workers are paid low wages and they are expected to work more to cope up with low selling prices of their produce. The demand for bank credit is at its lowest, which results in idle funds. The interest rates also decline. The stock markets crash and the economic activity is at its bottom. But we see one ray of hope, which is recovery. Recovery is the next phase after depression. The unemployed workers now come forward to work at whatever low wages they are getting. The prices, which fell very low, attract consumers who postpone their consumption expecting the prices to fall further down. The banks with accumulated cash reserves now come forward to give loans at very low interest rates. The demand in the economy increases and the stocks of goods become insufficient to meet this increased demand. The economic activity now starts picking up. Investment picks up, employment and output slowly and steadily begins to rise. This increased demand results in the increase in prices, profits, further investment, employment and also incomes. The wave of recovery starts. Stock markets become not only stable but also start moving with an upward trend. Optimism starts developing among the entrepreneurs. Bank loans and demand for credit start rising, and therefore the depression phase slowly turns into recovery. We are always in one of the four phases of this business cycle. But what do you think? In which phase our economy is currently going through? I would love to know your opinion. So write it down in the comment section. Now let's look at the characteristics of business cycle. First characteristic is that business cycle is synchronic, which means the upward and downward movements does not occur for few businesses. It occurs at almost all businesses at the same period. The wave of prosperity or depression in one industry will soon generate a wave for other industries, as we know how connected our economy is. Next, business cycle shows a wave-like movement. The period of rise and fall can be alternatively seen in cycle, which makes a wave-like shape. This means that after a period of boom in economy, there will be a phase of downfall, but eventually there will be a period of recovery where economy will rise again. Next, cyclic fluctuations are recurring in nature, as various phases are repeated. A boom is followed by recession, which is followed by depression, and then we move to recovery. And after recovery, we know there is a boom. So this is a cycle that keeps on repeating. Next, we also understand that there can be no indefinite depression or eternal boom. The number of years for which one phase will last may vary a lot, but the phase will change as no phase of a business cycle is permanent. And lastly, we know that the up and down movements are not symmetrical. The downward movement is more sudden and violent than the upward movement, which is usually slow and takes a lot of time to reach its highs. Now let's move to some practice questions. Which phase of the business cycle is also known as the crisis? And the answer is B. Recession. In which phase consumers who postpone their purchases finally start buying? And the answer is D. Recovery. Business cycle is also known as and the answer is C. Economic cycle. Underutilization of both men and materials is a characteristic of which phase? And the right answer is A. Depression. Which of the following is incorrect? Business cycles are and the answer is C. Symmetric, as business cycles are irregular, unpredictable and random, but they are not symmetric, as we know that the recession can be very quick while the recovery may take a lot of time. That's it for today. If you like this session, please share it with your friends, and if you have any query or suggestion, please write it down in the comment section. Thank you.